All right, I thought it was a good start to the week. Anytime you get into a game week, on Tuesday, some different things that you're looking at, trying to emphasize, fundamentals, alignments, the beginning basis of the game plan. Wake Forest is a really, really talented team. They played really well the first 2 weeks of the season. One of the most experienced teams in all of college football, a team that he relies on really good playmakers and in playing the game with great fundamentals and discipline. And so for us this week, our fundamental focus, the details of how we approach each play and having to play with great physicality and relentless spirit is going to be big. We're going to have to win our one-on-ones. We're going to have to make the most of every opportunity that we get. This is a defense that doesn't give up the big play. And they run, they tackle. Special teams is probably as big of a week that we've had up to this point. This is a team that's been very explosive in the return games, do a great job in their coverage units, and so we got challenges ahead of us. And I thought there were some good moments throughout the course of practice, but then also some things that we're going to absolutely have to clean up here before tomorrow, and you guys take the corrections and be able to apply it in tomorrow's work as we get into our third downs, because we know the emphasis that's going to be once again here this week. But I thought all in all, we got some good work today. Got to continue to push.
What are your main memories from playing Dave Clawson and Wake in the Birmingham Bowl for you?
They're really the things that I mentioned earlier. It's Coach Clawson, I think, is a tremendous evaluator. You look at their guys that they have, and they're talented. Some of the guys. You look at their defensive front. I think it's an impactful defensive front. Some of their guys at D tackle are 6'1", 6'2", rather than maybe 6'4", 6'5". But those guys, they play big, they play strong, they play with great pad level and technique, with a relentless motor. They are impactful players. What they do, offensively, very unique, schematically. Just timing and tempo. Their kids have great confidence in their system. He's been there for many years, so you can see this is something that is, that's preached on every single day. The discipline of how they play, they don't beat themselves, and you couple that with explosive playmakers. It's a tremendous challenge. But I got all the respect in the world for Coach Clawson and what they do.
From a scout team standpoint, how difficult is it to emulate that match point?
That's one of those things that it takes time, it takes reps. Having your scout team guys take ownership to come in and study film to try to get a sense of what that needs to look like. It's big, and because it's not like playing a triple option, but anytime you play something unique, it's in its own right. The timing of it, making sure that the look is the same, making sure that our guys understand, the keys that we need to see and what we need to do. It's all important, and that's sometimes that is part of the Tuesday frustrations that you deal with. And we had a little bit of that offensively and defensively today, but at the end of the day, our guys have to come in and study film and prepare themselves for what they see, and then get the most of all the physical reps that they have throughout the week.
What's the challenge coming off of a frustrating loss in terms of players controlling their emotions and frustration and still playing smart?
Well, yeah, it's like, where do you channel that? Yeah. That's the course of a game. It's a course of practice. It's a course of life. You're going to be put in uncomfortable situations. Nobody wants to lose. Nobody wants to have a bad play. Nobody wants to be embarrassed, right? But those things, they show up in life. But in that moment, where do you allow your mindset to go? Do you get distracted by the outside circumstances, the things that you can't control, or do you focus on the things that you can control and just continue to get better, continue to be where you need to be, to make sure your eyes are where they need to be, to work and develop on the fundamental steps of what it takes to put you in a position to be successful? I say all the time, hard work does not guarantee success. Hard work just puts you in the best position to be successful, but you have to apply those actions in the moment. And so, that's one of the big things that we're pushing on. It starts in meetings this morning. How do you come in and sit in meetings? Are you on the edge of your seat taking notes? Is fire burning out of your eyes to learn and to grasp that information? Or are you just kind of going through the motions and just checking off a box? You do that, probably not going to play to the best of your ability in the crunch time moments. And so that's the continued education of what we try to provide for our guys.
Talked yesterday about even if McKenzie's the guy, you're gonna find Jordan ways to get on the field. I guess what goes into the reasoning of establishing the firmer depth chart kind of coming into this week?
You know, I mean, I believe that McKenzie has worked really hard, has earned it, did a nice job the other night. You know, even some plays that he'd like to have back, you know, gave us opportunities. You know, Jordan is a dynamic player. You think he has an incredible future in helping this football team win games. You know, and that's per week, that's per game. I mean, it's not it's his development and the investment that he puts into it is big. You know, for us and establishing what that is week in and week out, that's our job as coaches. But you know, excited about what McKenzie brings. You know, just his energy. You know, the positive approach to lifting up teammates, to investing in those guys. You know, he's got great leadership qualities, and you know, we got to play great around him. And you know, and obviously he's got to play at a very high standard.
Why do you think Lawrence hasn't had quite as much success when he's playing the ball this year compared to last year? That's a small sample size.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a small sample size, but there were some things, even just the other day. I mean, all the right intentions. You know, whether it was a track here, you know, a little detail there. I mean, it was, you know, Lawrence is a very talented back, and you know, we're excited about getting him going. You know, being able to see him have some explosive plays. But you know, that was one of the things that came out the other night. Just some of the smaller details of putting himself in the best position to have those game-breaking opportunities. And I think that's where you've seen kind of the emergence of Jay Sean and even Trey Sean. You know, at times there last week. I mean, just that consistency of where we need to be, what it needs to look like, and then let your God-given talent take over in those reactional moments.
More from the receivers after the catch. It seemed like, I know Jacksonville State was playing deep, but.
Oh, that's a big you know, point. When teams are playing soft and teams are making, you know, everything stay in front. I mean, you've got to have you know, playmaking ability with the ball in your hands. I thought Darian Williamson was one that stood out in that regards. That, I mean, you know, everything for him was you know, all of his catches were short catches, but he made people miss. He had, you know, was able to establish some positive gains you know, there you know, with the ball in his hands, and you know, we need that to show up within more guys, and you got to create that separation. I mean, you got to give yourself space to be able to do that, and it's something we're working on.
When a guy like Darian makes plays, when given the opportunities, that lead to giving him more touches.
Oh, absolutely, and that's one of the guys in the game when we tried to, well, you know, when the perimeter game, you know, needed to emerge. You know, he was a guy that we wanted to give more of those opportunities to, and you know, unfortunately we had a couple penalties on other plays and catches that he had, but you know, I was excited about what he was showing, and you know, excited about what his future is.
A few guys in orange jerseys. Is that just guys not handling?
Just things within the team that we need to make sure that you know, on, off, in every capacity, we're living up to our standard.
Coach, what are the things you want to emphasize with your defense when you're going against a quarterback like Sam that really works well in this system and kind of doesn't make those mistakes you'd expect to make?
I mean, we need to trust our eyes. We need to be where we're supposed to be. You can't give this guy anything. I mean, he's extremely sharp. There's going to be times that we're going to be in great positions, and you know, he has the ability to make tight window throws to big receivers, the guys that are explosive movers. This is going to be a great challenge for our defense, and you know, everything within their offense starts with the running game. So we have to stop the run, but then, you know, obviously that's going to provide some opportunities outside for guys to have to step up at a high level.
Is that within that, the linebacker group, you know, down Kalen for a half, just the younger guys, how they're going to have to step up, especially discipline-wise?
Yeah, and that was one of the things even today, you know, with Kalen being out the first half, you had to push other guys up to step up to the challenge. You know, this is a team that plays with great tempo. You know, one of probably the fastest playing teams that we'll face this year. So to be able to do your job, to be able to communicate efficiently and effectively, and then to go perform your job. I mean, that linebacker group's going to have to play at an extremely high level, and you know, with Kalen being down, you know, in the first half, it provides an opportunity. We got to go seize it.
You mentioned the frustrations during practice. I mean, how much of that is just that single rep, or how much of it is where you guys are right now in the season, the urgency of this week?
Say frustrations at practice?
Yeah.
Well, I live frustrated at practice most days, and so you know, it's, you always want more. You always want to push, and you know, some of those things were the look that we were getting. Some of those things were the performance and where our eyes were. You know. In all phases, you know, I want to make sure we're making the most of the time. We come out here and everything's got a rhythm, everything's got an organizational push to maximize each rep, to maximize the time that we have out here. So, yeah, like I said, I live in frustration at practice, and I'm pretty good at it.
One more thing, McKenzie. You see the practice, but also during the game, it seems like he's much more comfortable about making sure guys are lined up around him, like making sure everybody else knows what they're doing.
Yeah, he's
how far is it coming?
just a ton. I mean, being a first year in the offense, that's just the investment, the film study, understanding the language. There's still things that he has to continue to work on and make sure his eyes are right, and he's going to gain in that confidence with each rep that he gets. He missed some time throughout fall camp that it probably added to some of those challenges, but you see the work that he's put in. Even days that he was unavailable, I mean, he's sitting there watching film, making sure he's getting those mental reps, and I think that allows him to play at a high level when he goes in there. Thanks, guys.